Alrighty. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 2 of Coffee with Contin. Now, the last mini podcast, I guess, is the best way to describe what this is. Didn't really get a whole lot of comments on it, but fair enough. Didn't really say anything about it in advance, just kind of left it in the video. And not a whole lot of people have really watched it or commented, so, that's on me. Anywho, what we're looking at is we do, in fact, have a comment here from Jen from the Book a Couple. She's asking about goals for 2023. Kind of cliche, but you know what I mean? She even called herself out on that. So, anybody that knows me knows that for a while now I've been working on self-improvement in terms of getting into shape. This all started on about mid-July, I want to say like around July 10th-ish, 2021. I weighed about 365 pounds. Now, that is, sadly to say, not the biggest I've ever been in my life. However, I have definitely made a marked improvement. As of today, even though I haven't weighed myself recently, I'm in the 240 to 250 range, somewhere in the middle there. So yeah, definitely a big difference. And I am, believe it or not, even skinnier than I was when I was in school. Funny as that is, and sad as that is at the same time to say. But moving on. The question specifically is relating to my goals for 2023. First and foremost, obviously, I want to continue that trend of the weight loss. My target goal is somewhere in the 170 to 180 range. I mean, guys are supposed to be bigger anyway, you know what I mean? We're not really meant to be super skinny or anything like that. And especially in my case, I wouldn't really look natural. But, the rambling aside, this is, as evidenced by the previous 2 videos, this is already take number 3. This is probably going to be the one that I wind up going with that I post, because I really don't want to have to continue over and over again trying to remake this, because this is, as I had mentioned previously, a bit of a social exercise to kind of get rid of some of my self-issues. One of those being, speaking to other people. When it's a normal conversation, I have really no problems with it, but doing things like this where I don't have anybody to talk to regarding it kind of makes it a little bit harder for me, so. But getting back to my point before I really start rambling. Anybody that knows me, there's a good chance that if you've watched any of Karstein's Mario Kart streams, then I like to hang out, I like to have fun. There was one, I'm sure Karstein can tell you in the comments which stream it was, but we actually had Blue, my son, stop in and hang out for a bit and decided to just go ahead and make us all look like trash, but that's my son. Can't say anything, I love him. Now, the wifey, as I'm very fond of calling her, it's probably going to be a while before anybody gets to know her, although she is actually starting her own YouTube channel in the future. If anybody's familiar with the Apple Texts YouTube channel, she's going to be doing something kind of in that same vein a little bit, but her own original stories. So I will definitely keep you all posted on that. And there I go again. Start talking about the wife, I get right off point again. Yeah. So it was goals for 2023. That, obviously, that little tangent of mine, part of the reason I want to get better and self-improve more is because I want to be around for my family, for Blue, and for the wife, because I don't want them to go through. We had a coworker years ago, the wife and I, when we worked for Safe Flight Auto Glass, I no longer work there, so I have no problem mentioning the name, who woke up one morning to find her husband in bed next to her, having gone through and suffered a massive heart attack the night before. And it wasn't too long after that I really made it a point to start getting healthier, because I don't want her to have to go through that. I don't want her to wake me up one morning only to find out that I'm not waking up again. So kind of a very surreal thought for me on that one. But yeah. I don't really like doing doom and gloom, so I apologize for bringing the mood down there. But beyond that, there are things that I want to do. I'm also looking into opening up a forge over the next couple of years. Still working on the name for that, but basically just being able to put multiple things that I love doing together and trying to turn that into a career. Mostly looking at probably starting like with hunting knives, things like that, but either way. So it's kind of getting kind of long. Just noticed how long this recording's been going, and not really fond of having to do longer bits here, although this is probably not a bad thing because I am kind of really opening up and I don't really do that enough. So again, if there's anything you guys ever want me to go over, anything you want me to talk about, definitely feel free to leave it in the comments below, or send me a message on Discord. I'm probably in a server with a lot of you somewhere. But I'm happy to go over anything that you guys want to talk about for the most part, unless it's just too personal or I'm not ready to talk about it yet. But I'm sure you'll know about that in advance. So, other than anything you guys want to know about me, I also want to take the time with these little chats to kind of get to know you guys a little bit better too. And yes, Kirstine, I'm stealing your thing again. But, oh well, you said you enjoyed when I do it, so neener. What I want to know, I'm trying not to be cliche with the question either, because a lot of times it's just like you ask little things and it's just kind of like you ask them, not you specifically, Kirstine. People ask these kinds of questions a lot just to kind of fill gaps and kill silence, things like that. But what I want to know is, what is a dream that you've had since yesterday, since last week, since last year, what have you, even if it was one that you had as a little kid? What is something that you've dreamed about or saw yourself doing for a living when you got older? Were you I want to be a firefighter, or I want to be a cop, I want to be a superhero, whatever it is, even if it might sound silly to you now, I want to know. I mean, I personally, when I was a kid, I grew up wanting to be a professional wrestler. And you can make all the jokes you want, but yeah, I grew up watching WWE back when it was still WWF, the World Wrestling Federation at that point. For those of you who don't know or do know, don't care. But that was what I dreamed growing up. I wanted to be a professional wrestler alongside like The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin and people like that. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to end the recording here. I'm getting real close to the limit on what I can store with the video recording anyway. So hopefully you all have a wonderful night, a wonderful evening, and may your coffee always be strong. Until next time.